The fans are in full defense mode today, Tio. Not about a result, not about a transfer, but about the Bernabéu itself. Someone out there is still mocking the stadium, and the socios are absolutely not having it.
And on the other side of the fan conversation, there's a much heavier topic brewing. The double standard around racism, and Vinicius is back in the spotlight, and this time it's Spanish fans themselves who are under the microscope.
Let's start with the Bernabéu Defense Brigade, because the energy in the comments is hilarious and also completely sincere. One fan just dropped this gem with 17 upvotes. Remember, the Bernabéu was there first. That's it. That's the whole argument. And honestly, correct.
The context, for anyone who missed it, is that Florentino Perez has been making the rounds talking about how the new Bernabéu will change Real Madrid's history. And there's been some chatter online about light pollution from the stadium's new exterior. And the fans are preemptively furious.
Preemptively furious is the right phrase, because another fan literally said, and I love this, "Stop laughing at the Bernabéu at night." Like, there is a whole community of people out there mocking the stadium's lighting, and the Madridistas are sending a very clear message: enough.
And then there's the third comment, which I find genuinely funny. Someone asking when the Bernabéu light pollution complaint officially becomes a formal topic, which tells you everything about how absurd this discourse has gotten. Fans are watching people find new and creative reasons to criticize the most iconic stadium in world football.
Madre mia, it never ends. And look, I get it. The new Bernabéu is a polarizing design. Some people love it. Some people think it looks like a spaceship landed in Madrid. But the fans who are pushing back are essentially saying, this is ours. It has been ours for decades, and you don't get to make it a punchline.
What's interesting is that Florentino himself has been very vocal about the stadium lately, talking about the enormous global legion of fans, framing the new Bernabéu as a historic turning point. And the fans seem to be rallying around that message, even if their version of it is a bit more combative.
Venga, let's move to the topic that has a lot more weight behind it, because the Vinicius conversation has taken a new turn, and it's one fans are engaging with very differently than usual. The international break gave us something that the Spanish football world is now sitting very uncomfortably with.
Right, and I want to frame this the way the fans are framing it, because that's what matters here. One comment that's getting a lot of traction basically says, now they want to stop the game. When it was happening to Vinny, no one cared. That's karma. And that sentiment is everywhere.
The frustration is boiling over because for years, Maria, Madridistas watched Vinicius get abused, get mocked, get racially targeted, and the response from large parts of Spanish football culture was to minimize it, laugh it off, question whether he was overreacting, and now fans are saying, look who's not laughing anymore.
Another fan put it even more bluntly. They said, with Vinny they laughed and downplayed it. Hypocritical Spain. And look, I'm not going to pretend this is a simple topic, but the consistency of that sentiment across hundreds of comments tells you something real about how Madridistas feel they've been treated in this debate.
And the third comment on this thread goes even further, talking about the level of racism that exists in Spanish fan culture, specifically in the national team fan base. Not generalizing, they say, but making the point that what's been demonstrated is undeniable at this point. Que barbaridad.
What makes this particularly pointed is the timing, because we talked yesterday about Vinicius being booed by Brazilian fans during the international break, and now you have Spanish fans essentially saying, look, the problem isn't just abroad, it's right here. It's a painful conversation, but it's one the fan base is clearly ready to have.
And Vini did assist in Brazil's first goal against Croatia. So he's performing, he's contributing, he's doing the work. The man just cannot catch a break from critics in any direction. At some point, the football has to speak louder than everything else.
Well, his football has been speaking pretty loudly all season. We covered his numbers in the Derby Aftermath episode, and they were frankly absurd. The fans who love him aren't confused about what they're watching. They're just exhausted by the narrative that surrounds it.
Now let's shift gears slightly, because there's a third thread running through the fan comments today that's connected to all of this, and it's about Spanish media and the journalism around Real Madrid more broadly. Fans are fired up about a specific figure, and this is a continuation of what we touched on yesterday.
Yeah, the Edu Aguirre conversation is very much alive. One fan comment, which got the most engagement of anything we've seen today, 110 upvotes, basically calls out Luis de la Fuente and the media system around the Spanish national team, saying, "Thanks, Edu," as in, finally, someone in the media is willing to push back.
And the second comment in that thread is someone defending the same media figure, saying the only one being disrespectful is the other side, the one who only answers questions that suit him. Fans are taking sides on who in Spanish sports media is actually being honest and who is performing.
The third comment is the simplest and maybe the most telling. More journalists like this. That's it. There's a genuine hunger among Madridistas for media figures who will actually challenge the narrative, not just reinforce the comfortable version. And when they feel like they've found one, they rally around them hard.
This connects to everything we've been discussing for weeks. The Spanish media bias discourse, the treatment of Vinicius in the press, the sense that Real Madrid fans have to fight twice as hard just to get fair coverage. It's not paranoia, it's a pattern that fans have documented relentlessly.
And look, Mallorca is coming up on Saturday, 2 days away, and Arbeloa is already reintegrating the international players. Valverde is suspended after the straight red against Atletico, which is a real headache, and fans are going to be watching very closely to see how the midfield gets reconfigured.
We haven't seen Bellingham get a proper run in weeks. Yesterday's episode had the whole debate about when and how Arbeloa brings him back in. Mallorca might be the moment, or it might not. But either way, the fans are already running the scenarios and the temperature is rising as we get closer to the weekend.
Tomorrow's episode will have a full Mallorca preview, the squad situation, the fan expectations, all of it. There's a lot to unpack before kickoff on Saturday.
But today, the fans have reminded us that being a Madridista isn't just about the 90 minutes. It's about defending your club, defending your players, and refusing to let the narrative be written by people who don't have the badge. Hala Madrid, and we'll see you tomorrow morning.